Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of RealScreenReviews.com. And for the very first time on the actual show, I'm lucky to have with me a guest critic. This is my good friend Greg Hill joining me in the Ebert seat. Greg, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Nick. It's always a pleasure to be here in the Ebert seat.
Love having him in the Ebert seat. Always love to have your thoughts and opinions here with us. And what the movie that we are going to review today is the movie Inception. And that movie opened on worldwide release on Friday, July 16th, 2010. It stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Cillian Murphy, Ellen Page, Tom Berenger, and Academy Award winner Marion Cotillard. And this film comes to us from master storyteller Christopher Nolan, who has directed Memento, The Prestige, Batman Begins, and also probably the most successful and worldwide known as The Dark Knight, that opened this same weekend 2 years ago. And at this point I will turn it over to my guest critic to tell us a little bit about Inception.
Well, opening up the movie Inception, we see Leonardo DiCaprio, the leading man of the movie. He's lying on a beach, and we don't really know what's going on, but all of a sudden we see someone come up with a gun to his back, and they take you to this huge room with this old man, and that pretty much gets everything rolling, and all of a sudden you flash back to what started all of this. And really, it's quite a complex movie, so it's kind of hard to give a brief plot description about this movie. But
we could say that it involves layers of dreams.
Yes.
Would that be a good call?
That
layers?
Yes, layers of dreams.
I will say, right off the bat, I don't mean to cut you. I think that there's so much going on in this movie. It's brilliantly put together. It's wonderfully crafted. But I think you're right. We're going to have to talk in such a way that we don't give anything away. I would go so far as to say that this might actually warrant another viewing, because I would compare this to The Matrix. The original Matrix, what is it, like 12 years ago now? 10 years ago?
Oh,
The Matrix?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That movie came around and it showed us something very fresh, very original, something that was never done before, action scenes that you had never seen before, and I can see the same thing happening with Inception. This movie breaks ground in many, many different directions, as far as action sequences go, as far as special effects go. Agree?
Oh, yes, no question. And all the characters in this movie were really good as well.
I agree.
Leonardo DiCaprio, obviously, as the leading man, has proven time and again that he is so diverse and can do any variety of role.
I agree. I think he's been what I would consider a very credible leading man going back to Titanic. But I would also say in such a way that he has done everything he can to just prove himself and challenge himself to the audience and the people paying money to go see these films that he's in, and I think he brings it home almost every single time, and this is no exception. He's a great, great leading man, and he's one of the biggest stars in the world for a reason. So.
Oh, yes, no doubt. Again, in this one, he just knocks this one out of the park.
Absolutely.
He's just incredible on screen, and someone who I wasn't really too familiar with, Ellen Page, who had found success with the movie Juno, which I had never seen, but I thought she gave a quality performance in this one. She had a very good character.
She holds her own. She has a very, very good character. She holds her own. Like I said, there's a lot of talent making up this cast, and this, like I said, she's exploded onto the scene in the last few years. But she brings nothing but a solid and quality performance to this movie.
Oh yes.
Go ahead.
Again, all the characters were really good. There's so many. I mean, they introduce some even halfway through the movie.
Tom Berenger.
Still introducing new characters.
Yeah, Tom Berenger, one of my favorite actors, shows up halfway through as a very. I think there's nobody in this story. Everybody is essential to the story. Nobody's ever left out of this at all. This is actually, I would consider this to be the best live-action film that I have seen this year. This is not just a summer film. This is not an event film. This is a quality film with a very, very complex and intricate story. It's well told. It's quality 100% all the way around. I don't think it's absolute perfection. I think it's about as close to perfection as I think that they could come so far this year.
Oh, no doubt. Casting was fabulous.
Absolutely.
The story, as you said, is very well told. It's got a very good balance to it, I thought. There was a good mix between, there would be an action sequence, and then there would be...
It would unravel a little bit.
Unravel a little bit more of the story, and there was a nice little mix of humor in there.
Yes, there was.
I thought that just really made the story.
But there's a lot of sincerity to the film as well. There's an ongoing issue with Leonardo DiCaprio, his character Cobb, being separated from his little girls. There's also the side character of Marion Cotillard as his as his wife, but then once again, we don't want to give too much away there. This is probably one of the hardest reviews I've done, because in almost any direction that we want to go with this conversation, we're going to give away answers, and we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Stars. We'll cut to that. Stars. How many stars do you give this?
I really, really enjoyed this movie. Again, it's not absolute perfection. It's very original. There are really nitpicky things that about this film that maybe some people might not like. But I gave this movie 3.5 stars. It's a definite must-see. It's definitely worth your time. It's Christopher Nolan has kind of a reputation of doing movies like this, where
Absolutely.
this one was like, what,
about 2 hours and 15 minutes.
About 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's definitely worth your time and your money to go and see this one.
Plus, he only tells quality stories. I think he works with his brother most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking that they
Yes.
developed scripts together, and you can tell that his heart is in every script that he produces and directs, because it's just every corner that you turn, there's just something more. There's more information. There's more entertainment. Every time out, this guy he hits it out of the park every time. I'm going to be right with you. I'm going to give this 3.5 stars. I think that the complexity of the script might actually hurt its audience sometimes, because sometimes people don't like to think as much during the film, but this movie it's just brilliantly crafted. There's an action sequence with Joseph Gordon-Levitt where he's fighting in a hallway and it goes into an elevator. It is the most original action sequence I've seen since Keanu Reeves was on the roof dodging the bullets in Bullet Time for the first time in the main. It's a brilliant film. So you're going to say 3.5 stars?
3.5 stars.
And I'm going to say 3.5 stars too. And I'm going to say, Greg, thank you so much for being here and joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you. And are you going to end it with my slogan here for me?
And remember, folks, we're not always right. Only when it comes to the movies.
And thank you for your attention.